an exam today and I cheated on the exam, and to be honest, I feel like it's eating me up inside as if it's haram.
Your father used to do the exact something and would always get in trouble. But you have done it now and cannot go back. I don't know if it is haram. Khair inshallah.
Thanks, Jiddu. Jiddu, I wanted to ask if it's halal to buy lottery tickets. They're so cheap and we could make a lot of money.
I don't know if it is halal or haram, but never think about something like that again.
Okay, I was just asking. Jiddu.
تعبتني. What do you want now?
I just wanted to ask if the sweet has beef gelatin is halal or haram.
You're supposed to check it before buying it, not after. I don't know if this is halal or haram.
Okay.
What now? I am trying to relax. Why do you keep asking me? تعالي هنا الخاطر الله. Just go watch Ahkam SOS. Any question you have, they can answer you. You can call them, message them, anything. Ask as much as you like. They can answer any question from any marja, okay?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewers of Imam Hussein TV 3, welcome back to another episode of Ahkam SOS, the show where we discuss various Islamic topics and principles. I'm your host, Sayyid Muthanna al-Musawi, and with me is the esteemed and knowledgeable Sheikh Ali. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you doing? Inshallah you're well?
Fine.
Alhamdulillah, that's good to hear. To the viewers at home, that are tuning in just now, if you haven't seen the show, a quick explanation of how it is. You send in your questions and the Sheikh will answer them. To do that is very simple. You've got the QR code below as soon as it shows up. Yeah, right there. You've got the phone numbers, you've got the WhatsApp number you can send a message to. And if you're watching on YouTube Live, you can send in your questions in the comment section. That's for those who have not seen the show yet. If you have seen, but do you know what to do? Okay, Sheikhna, let's begin. First question from YouTube. It says, people believe something is beyond this universe. Could Allah prove there is no ending outside the universe because He is infinite?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. We have a verse in the Holy Quran that talks about the universe and the samawat and the heavens. And it says at the end, وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ, and we continue expanding in this universe. What we know is limited. What we know is we lack information about at least our, where we live now on this earth. We still haven't discovered the reality of gravity, what gravity is actually, the reality of electricity and other inventions, let alone to know about the universe and what is beyond the universe and the black hole, which is now been a discussion by the scientists since maybe half a century. They discovered there's a black hole that attracts planets and other things, like a Hoover. So if we know otherwise, we have to keep researching and asking.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Sheikhna. Another question from YouTube. If a follower of Rasulullah was in heaven and he can ask Allah anything, for example, one day if he saw his friend burning in hell, can he ask Allah to take him out of hell into heaven?
You see, in terms of shafa'ah of the mu'mineen, we have narration with this regard. We have even a narration about those who lose their children. A child in the age of, let's say, 6 months, 2 or 3 years old. The hadith says they will sit on the doorstep of the paradise of heaven, and they await their parents. And he would say to Allah Azza wa Jalla, I wouldn't go inside the paradise except with my parents. So he would have some kind of intercession for his parents to join them in paradise. Now, in terms of those who are in hell, of course, we have the Ma'asumin alayhi salam. You know, some of the tough jobs, let's say, the tough work, will be done with the higher status individuals like the prophets and Ma'asumin alayhi salam.
Okay, thank you, Sheikhna. From YouTube again, how can I keep remembering that Allah is watching over me? And also that there are 2 angels recording what I'm doing so that I can restrain myself from sin.
See, Allah Azza wa Jal created this world and gave us an examples that we can learn of and make use of. For example, when you go walk in the streets, there are CCTV cameras. When you go to supermarkets, let's say giant malls and shopping centers, there are cameras always watching us. So we can't do anything which is against the law, for example. And this is very visible in terms of driving. You can't speed in some streets. You can't cross, some certain. You can't break the law. For example, you cannot, for example, ignore the traffic light, the red traffic light, and just cross and just move on. So that feeling, we have this feeling in terms of somebody else is watching us. Let alone Allah Azza wa Jal, who made us, خلقكم. So we have to have this sense of that somebody's watching us. Always, yes, our amal being recorded and watched by, as the Quran says, that Allah and His Prophet would watch our amal. Allah gave this power, as you gave it to Isa alayhi salam in his lifetime, to cure a leopard or raise a dead from the grave. He gives the same thing to the prophets and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam to watch our deeds every let's say a week, or depends to see what we've done. So yes, indeed, Allah Azza wa Jalla is there watching us, but we need to have this feeling, and this feeling doesn't come except through piety and taqwa, as I've said many times, is to have this feeling of God-fearing, taqwa Allah Azza wa Jalla. Then of course you will avoid any sin that comes in front of you, and you'll try to, inshallah, implement all the obligatory acts as a result of feeling this being watched by Allah Azza wa Jal.
Okay, thank you, Sheikhna. So you're basically saying, as long as we seek more knowledge, we understand what Islam is truly, gain more taqwa, gain piety in Islam, then we will know to remind ourselves.
Yes, indeed.
Allah is watching,
knowledge
to
and
restrain
piety.
Ourselves from sin.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Sheikhna. From YouTube, I heard from one of these shows that it is bid'ah to do wudu after ghusl al-janabah. Will doing such bid'ah invalidate the salat?
The hadith says very clear from Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam that al-wudu ala janaba bid'ah. Yes, indeed, there's a narration, ulama, I can say the majority, if not as a consensus, that they would stick to this hadith, that yes, if you become mujnib due to intercourse or ejaculation, wet dream, whatever is the cause, then you go for the wajib ghusl of janaba, to pray, to fast and so forth. Then you're not allowed to perform wudu afterwards straight away. And you have to go and let's say perform the prayers without ablution and wudu again, unless you break it through going to the bathroom, to the toilet. Then of course you have to perform the wudu and not the ghusl, because that doesn't break the ghusl, the toilet. So that's the way. You go to the toilet and then you perform the wudu for the salah. Otherwise, the ghusl janaba suffices from the one to perform the wudu, and they have to avoid performing the wudu if they have this ghusl. So that should be suffices. Yes.
Ahsant, Sheikhna. From YouTube again, if someone lives in the north, where sometimes the sun does not set, how should he perform the 5 daily prayers?
By going back to the times of the normal times of the Islamic cities like Mecca, Medina, other, let's say, capitals, Islamic capitals, and follow that, the schedule of these cities, holy cities. So to pray, for example, 1 p.m. the Dhuhr Asr prayers, for example, and then if it's 7 p.m. then the Maghrib Isha, for example, and the same applies to the Fajr Adhan. So you have to go back to like Mecca and Medina and follow that timetable.
Okay, use the timings of Islamic capital cities. Okay. From YouTube, I have been told Halloween is the day of Iblis. If this is true, how can I save myself from Iblis?
I mean, is to say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فاستعذ بالله, as the Quran mentions, from the Satan's deceiving and mischief of this Satan and devil. Always ask Allah Azza wa Jal to avoid you from committing the sins by going back to Allah Azza wa Jal. Reciting the verses of the Holy Quran, for example, Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. All these acts, verbally and with pure heart. Again, as I've said, you have to have a pure heart. And to have a pure heart, you have to avoid committing sins. And this can be done. I mean, we have ulama and scholars who have reached the stage of not even committing one discouraged act or makruh act, which is very difficult. You know, if somebody, for example, is in a state of janab, and it's makruh to sleep in that state unless you either perform the ghusl or to perform the wudu to remove that state of janab, and you can go back to sleep. But if you just sleep straight away, that's makruh. For somebody who is, for example, in the middle of the night, especially if he's or she's a youth, for example, and they can't wake up in the middle of the night and perform ghusl, they sleep all the way till Fajr time, for example. That's makruh, for example. So even to that state, you see, some ulama did not perform or committed such discouraged acts to this extent, let alone the sin. So the one can reach to that state, of course, then it's a lot of work. I mean, it's not easy. That's why you see that ulama have reached such a great state of piety and knowledge. It's not easy. But with pure and sincere heart and mind and invoking Allah Azza wa Jal, they have reached. Like Allama Hilli, Sheikh Al-Tusi, Tabarsi, others, Sheikh Al-Mufid, that they left with us such a great treasures of books of the words of Ali Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It wasn't easy. Sacrifice, the fear from the tyrants in their time. Sheikh Al-Tusi, who had to leave Baghdad and go to Najaf and establish the house of Najaf. It's not easy. Without piety, without God-fearing, without implementing Allah's rulings, you cannot reach to the stage and be able to deliver this message of Ali Muhammad after 1,000 years.
Right. Thank you very much, Sheikh. From YouTube again, what does it mean that Allah created the will and then created everything from the will?
I'm not sure what the will means. We have to find the Arabic narration and try to define it, inshallah. We need the Arabic version, inshallah.
Inshallah, on future episodes. From YouTube again, if someone is doing wudu and a couple of drops drop on his feet right before he wipes them, is his wudu invalidated?
You see, one should not leave his feet and his head wet and perform the wiping on the head and on both feet. You have to make sure they are dry. But if there's a little of moist, that should be fine. What is important that the moist or the wetness on your hand, on your palm, should be more than the wetness on your head and both feet. In this situation, it's fine.
It's fine.
You can go with it.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a quick reminder to the viewers at home. Send in your questions. It's very simple. If you are just tuning in now, it's very easy to send in your questions. It's all about seeking knowledge. All you have to do is scan the QR code shown below, or you can text message the WhatsApp number, or you can call. I'd love for someone to call in. If you're watching on YouTube Live, however, you can send in your questions in the comment section, and we will get right through to answering your questions, inshallah. From YouTube, what are some easy everyday things one can do to earn more good deeds on a daily basis?
You have lots of options. You have verbal good deeds by dhikr of La ilaha illallah, for example. There's a narration that when the Prophet ﷺ went ascended to the heavens and he went to the paradise, he saw that angels are working and building palaces for one of the mu'mineen. One block is from silver, one is from one brick or block from silver, one from gold. And they used to stop. And he asked them, why do you stop? And they said that because when the mu'min says Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, we continue building. But when he stops this dhikr, we stop. So you can see how easily one can gain such great rewards by these adhkar. As-salat ala Muhammad, for example, reciting the supplications, Quranic verses. These are verbal acts. And you have also practical acts such as giving charity, helping others, helping parents, helping others, those who, for example, need, let's say, medical assistance, if you can aid them. You have studied medics, for example, or if you see people who can't speak specific language, you can translate for them. Those who are newly migrants to the country, for example, you can translate for them, for their visas and so forth. Many means of you can get rewards practically and verbally, and of course have it as a saving for your akhirah and hereafter.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikhna. From YouTube, let's say Maghrib Salah is at 6:30 and you pray at 8:30. Can you still pray Nafila Maghrib and Salat al-Ghufayla?
I mean, the Salat al-Ghufayla and Nafilat al-Maghrib comes after the Salat al-Maghrib, which is fine. What is important that you don't go beyond the time of the Maghrib, to the Fajr time. So yes, even if it's 8:30, you still can pray the Nafila and the Ghufayla and so forth.
Should be fine.
Yeah, it's just you delayed the Fadila and the reward for one who prays on time at 6:30.
Of course, the earlier the better.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you, Sheikhna. From YouTube, will there be 12 Mahdis after the 12th Imam?
We have one Imam Mahdi Ajjallah Faraj Sharif, in which he will reappear at the end of the time, or the time given that is in Allah's knowledge, that we don't know exactly when. But 12 Mahdis, what do you mean by 12 Mahdis? We have one Mahdi. We have 12 Imams of Ahlul Bayt. Only those 12 will lead, or they are leaders from the time of, after the demise of the Prophet ﷺ till the Day of Judgment. Only those 12 leaders. We don't have any other leaders other than these 12 Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam.
Okay.
So nobody else can claim or can say that I am also another Mahdi or another Imam. Only those 12.
Only those 12.
And then names are mentioned in the books of Shia of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam.
Ahsan, Sheikhna. From YouTube, can you tell the difference between a prophet, an imam, and a messenger, and who is better?
I think I mentioned this last week, that a prophet is somebody who Allah Azza wa Jalla chooses to be a prophet and deliver a message either to himself, so he can be prophet by himself, or to his family members, or to his tribe, or to his village, or to a country, let's say.
Okay.
But sometimes you have a messenger who has a broader message to deliver to the world, like Ibrahim alayhi salam, a messenger of Allah, like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a messenger to the world. So messenger has a greater let's say, message to deliver to the world, not just to a village or to a clan or a tribe.
Okay.
And of course, the messenger is greater than the prophets.
Yeah.
That's why we have Ulul Azm. They are the best of the prophets. Ibrahim, Nuh, Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are the main ones. So they are the best, and they are the messengers of Allah Azza wa Jalla to the world, to the nations, each in their time. And the Prophet to the Alameen. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. You are the mercy to the worlds, and not just this world. And then we have the Imam. When the Prophet reaches that great stage, after being a prophet, then a messenger, then Allah would appoint him as Imam. As to Ibrahim, that Allah said to Ibrahim, إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. Imama is a greater position and status after the prophethood and messenger, being as messenger. And that's why we say Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they are Imams. So they are beyond the prophets and messenger in terms of position. They're not prophets, they're not messengers as Ibrahim alayhi salam, but they are Imams, greater than this position of the prophethood and the messenger. Of course, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the best of the prophets and the messengers and the Imam. So he's the top of the top. He's the supreme Imam of all the Imam alayhim salam.
The greatest of
the
creation.
greatest, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikhna. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum. Please, can you recommend Quran and Hadith books in English translation?
In English, I think there's an Iranian author who translated the Quran in English. I don't know if you can find it as a PDF, but it's available. I'm not sure exactly the name of the translation. That they say it's accurate translation. But you have to try and find. I mean, I tried to find some translation. It's difficult, you know. Sometimes I have to jump from one translation to another translation because I can't trust this translation. It's not really accurate, for example. Some words are not given accurate meaning and phrase. That's why I have to change the translation. So try your best to find what is the best. But as I've said, this author was in Iran and he translated the Quran in this matter.
Of course, thank you very much, Sheikhna. From YouTube, what are some common bid'ahs so one doesn't fall into it?
You see, I cannot exactly give you what is bid'ah, but the meaning of bid'ah or innovation in faith, in religion, is to insert something that is not in religion inside the religion. As we said, for example, to pray and your hands are folded on your chest. That's a bid'ah, for example. It wasn't in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not even in the time of Abu Bakr, but Umar is the one who brought it into the salah. And Salat al-Tarawih, where Umar calls it ni'matul bid'ah hadih. He confesses, he announces that is a bid'ah, and he brought it inside the religion of Islam. So this is an example of bid'ah in which it was brought by the so-called khulafa because they were not capable of being khalifa, a true khalifa of Rasulullah. You know, it's like giving the position to the wrong person. The Sahaba gave this position to the wrong people. That's what we have now. Islam is almost shattered, as you can see. It's divided and shattered into madahib and sects, and they are fighting with each other. And since they took over, you know, the battles and the killings, and the Umayyads came into power, they made the Khilafah as kingdom, inheriting the kingdom to their, their sons and to their offspring, and then went to Bani Abbas, and the same thing happened because they went the wrong way. It was very clear from the day one that the Khalifa was Imam Ali alayhi salam, nobody else.
Yeah, of course.
من كنت مولاه فعلي مولاه. You go out of this, you're going to be deviated, and of course, you will lead the ummah into astray as a result.
Ahsan, Sheikhna, thank you very much. To all the viewers at home, just a quick reminder for those that are just tuning in. Number one, why are you so late? Number two, it's very easy to send in your questions. I want to see some more questions from you guys. So send in your questions. You've got the QR code you can scan below. You've got the WhatsApp number and you've got the phone number. I would like to hear some calls. Anyone that wants to call in, don't be shy. Send in your questions. It's completely anonymous. We're not taking your name or your location. Just send in just call and ask away. From YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube Live, you can send in your questions in the comment section and we will get through to answering them, inshallah. Sheikhna, from YouTube, what is the difference between taqwa and wara'ah?
You see, taqwa is to implement the obligatory acts from prayers, from fasting, from Hajj and so forth.
Yeah.
And to refrain from the evil and sins, acts. Wara' is the higher level and grade where you concentrate on abstaining from the acts of sins. And as I've said, the prophetic advice to Imam alayhi salam about the holy month of Ramadan, that the best deed, al-wara' and maharim Allah. To have this wara' from committing sins, because it's really difficult for the one to stop committing sins if they are used to it.
Okay.
Maybe I can get used to praying every day, waking up in the Fajr time, beautiful, wake up, pray. It's like meditation sometimes for some people. Fasting for some people could be like an opportunity to lose weight in the holy month of Ramadan, for example, and so forth. But when it comes to haram, imagine when you have all these social media accounts and you have messages coming in, clips coming in, and to avoid it's difficult sometimes. You get used to it. Or YouTube videos, for example, images. It's difficult to avoid it. But as I've said, this is very challenging, and you have to defeat your Satan and your devil by having an observing wara', as mentioned in the narration.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikhna. From YouTube, can you tell us 3 big benefits of memorizing more surahs of the Quran in this life and the Akhirah?
Well, one of the best ones, let me mention this, and this narration, could be by the Prophet or by the Imam alayhi salam, that they will tell this individual on the Day of Judgment when he goes to paradise that iqra' warqa, that recite and elevate. For every verse, he elevates or she elevates. The more you recite, the more you elevate, and you gain higher positions and status in paradise. That's a great utmost benefit for one who memorizes the Holy Quran, of course.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikhna. From WhatsApp, I know that wearing a cloak in namaz is mustahab, and so is a turban. Can I wear the qa'ba as well in namaz, or is it not mustahab? Can I style the turban like how the scholars of today do it?
We had some older generations that they used to tell us that our fathers used to, wrap something on their head, maybe a scarf, white scarf or something, if they were a sheikh, non-sayyid, or the sayyid would wrap like a black cloth or something, and with abba and would pray. So that was some kind of a tradition in old days. They used to do it. Although they weren't ulama or anything like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikhna. To the viewers at home, we will now be going on a break. But before that, my favorite part of the show, my favorite segment, is some wise words from the Sheikh. Sheikhna, over to you.
Yes, indeed, the wise words of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam statements, as we have now from Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salam, where he said, قال Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he narrates from his grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this hadith, that أربعة لا ترد لهم دعوة. 4 types of people in which their dua would not be answered, except if they implement, let me just mention this hadith. I think we had this last week. So أربعة لا تستجاب لهم دعوة. 4 types of people Allah would not answer their call. They say, Allah, give us this hajah. Answer our call, Allah would not. Because Allah created this world on the basis of asbab and musababat, causes and the causes. If you don't go to work, you can't earn living, and you can't pay your bills, and you can't pay your rent and mortgage as a result. So these individuals who Allah would not answer their call, even they beseech Allah, invoke Allah Azza wa Jalla with dua, Allah would not answer. Who are they? The Imam says, Salaamullah alayhi, رجل جالس في بيته, a man sitting in his home, unemployed, jobless, no work. يقول اللهم ارزقني. He would ask Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah, give me sustenance, rizq. To get the money and rizq, you have to go outside and work. This is how it works. Allah created this world in this way, that you have to go outside, earn your livings through work. So Allah would not answer this individual. So he needs to go out, or she needs to go out and work and earn for the livings through work.
Yeah.
رجل جالس في بيته يقول اللهم ارزقني فيقال له, the answer would come to this individual who asks Allah Azza wa Jal while he's at home, unemployed. ألم آمرك بالطلب? Didn't I told you to go and seek work and employment to get that sustenance and income? You have to go outside and work. Number 2, ورجل كانت له امرأة, and a man who had a wife.
Okay.
فدعا عليها, and he was asking Allah to get rid of this woman.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sometimes you have an evil man, la samah Allah, an evil husband. Sometimes you have evil wife and a woman, na'udhu billah. If this is the situation, Allah gave you the permission and the concession for divorce. That's why divorce is allowed in Islam. But of course, it would be not discouraged in terms of abghad al-halal as mentioned. But in anyhow, this is a solution for such partners. So he asks Allah Azza wa Jal to have this relief, but without divorce. So the answer would be, فيقال له ألم أجعل أمرها إليك? Didn't I give you the permission to divorce her? You have her, you know, the permission to divorce her. You can divorce her, that's it. And you can solve the issue. ورجل, number 3, كان له مال فأفسده, and a man who had wealth and he ruined his wealth. He bought the most expensive cars, I don't know, he went to the most expensive holidays and he ruined his wealth in this way. فيقول اللهم ارزقني, and then he says, oh Allah, give me sustenance and rizq. You ruined, you had the capital and you ruined it, destroyed it. فيقال له, they would tell them, ألم آمرك بالاقتصاد? Didn't I advise you to save your money or spend it correctly? Don't overspend. And the 4th, ورجل كان له مال فأدانه بغير بينه, and a man who had money and he borrowed somebody this money of his own to someone else. He gave it as a loan, but without any witnesses, without any paperwork. He just gave it. And then of course that guy took it and ran away with this money. So they will tell him, ألم آمرك بالشهادة? Didn't I order you to bring witnesses, or at least some paperwork, signatures, witnesses that you've borrowed this individual, let's say £100,000 for example. You have to have witnesses with this regard, otherwise they might cheat you and walk away and you can't do anything. So this is how we gain benefits from the words and the wisdoms of Ahlul Bayt of Muhammad wa Muhammad sallallahu alayhi ajma'in.
Ahsan, thank you very much for those wise words from the Ahlul Bayt. Thank you very much, Sheikhna. To the viewers at home, we will now be going on a break. But before that, this is the best time to send in your questions. So send it in. It's very easy, very simple. All you want to do is, you just want to seek knowledge. You want to learn more about our religion, about the Ahlul Bayt, anything, Islamic questions. Send them in. Very easy. All you need to do is scan the QR code shown below. You can send a message on the WhatsApp. You can even call in. And if you're watching on YouTube Live, you can send in your questions in the comment section, and inshallah we will ask them all after the break. Assalamu alaikum.
I have a question regarding keeping pictures of scholars at home.
Is it permissible to plant trees by or
Was
over
Islam
the
established
graves?
based on peace and
Is it
non-violence?
permissible to collect donations for charity projects from
Is it permitted to consume canned food imported from non-Muslim
Is there
countries?
an issue for men looking at non-Muslim women?
To have your questions answered live, WhatsApp us on +44 7415 092155.
For those interested in an Islamic law book by Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Al-Shirazi, please WhatsApp the Ahkam SOS team at the following number to place your order today: +44 7415 092155. The Islamic law book, available exclusively in hard copy, contains religious questions answered by Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Al-Shirazi. Order your hard copy today.
Welcome back, dear viewers of Imam Hussein TV 3 after the break to Ahkam SOS, the show where we discuss various Islamic topics and principles and practices. If you haven't sent in your questions during this break, send them in now before it's too late. Otherwise, you'll have to wait until the next episode, which is on Wednesday. So send them in. Very easy, very simple. Okay, Sheikhna, from YouTube, there is a hadith, is there a hadith that says that Allah came down on a camel to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and what would you say to that?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Initially, we have to take the hadith and narrations to the book of Allah Azza wa Jal.
Yeah.
If they match, we accept. If they don't match, we have to reject them. Especially when it comes to Tawheed Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal, nothing is like Him. ليس كمثله شيء. So how could Allah Azza wa Jal descend to the earth, sitting on the camel, na'udhu billah, like a human being? So this is against the Holy Quran verse. ليس كمثله شيء. In the hadith as well, the Imam says, إن الله لا يؤين بأين. Allah has no place to be in that place, to be limited in that place. So, no, we don't have such a hadith at all.
Yeah, okay.
It's against the Quran, against the narrations of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam.
Ahsan, Sheikhna. From YouTube, I once heard a hadith about a person who will gain the strength of 40 people and will get this power for the 313.
It is mentioned in some narrations that in the time of the Imam's reappearance, Ajjallahu Farajahu Sharif, that his men will get the power of 40 men to be able to defeat their enemies in that time.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you very much, Sheikhna. From WhatsApp, if I was to accidentally buy something haram, like pizza that had pork in it, am I allowed to give it to my Christian neighbors, or do I have to throw it away?
The scholars say that you're not allowed to serve alcohol and pork even to those who accept or would consider as permissible from other religions. No, you can't.
You can't?
No.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikhna. From YouTube, how do hadith narrations work? How are they made authentic, and what's the criteria?
Well, it's a long topic. We have different tools and books in which they would undergo each hadith. They would scrutinize the hadith one by one, especially if it's for the fiqh purpose. They want to issue fatwa based on the hadith. I mean, I don't want to go through this details in the books of diraya, as they say, al-Diraya, the knowledge of the hadith, in which they break the hadith into sahih, hasan, mawthuq, and da'if. And then they would discuss the chain of narrators, each one by one. Is he authentic? Is he accepted? Is he trusty? And then they put each one under these 4 categories, for example. It's a detailed topic, and as I've said, you have to go back to the books of the Raya and see how they actually break this hadith into 4 parts and sections. And each hadith should be studied deeply in regards to the chain of the narrators and the context and the meaning of the hadith itself. What does it mean? Sometimes the hadith is sahih. All the chains of narrators are all great ulama, like Muhammad Muslim, Ibn Abi Umayr, others and others of great narrators of the Imams alayhi salam, but still ulama would not act upon this hadith because of the context itself, because of the verdicts of the hadith, for example. They would not apply it. They wouldn't reject it, they would just don't apply this hadith for their fiqh purposes. And sometimes they would take a da'if hadith instead and apply it. Yes?
So it depends.
It depends again. Experts in this field. The ulama, the fuqaha are experts.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikhna. From YouTube, why do we often say in dua, oh, give us in the dunya and in the akhirah? And this person then clarifies that they understand that in the dunya, of course, you wanna do dua for the dunya, but in the akhirah, we will already get everything. So what's the reason for saying that?
Different tafsir with this regard. One can refer back to the tafsir of the Quran. That hasana in dunya, for example, is it prayers, for example, some good acts, for example. In the akhirah, for example, is it the wilayat of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, the hasana? It depends. As I've said, different tafsir and ta'wil is mentioned in the books of the mufassirin of the Shia ulama with this regard. That hasana is wilayat Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, for example, in some statements.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Sheikhna. From YouTube, what are your thoughts on Latmiya videos where people hit their face?
You see, whatever is known to be jaza' or extreme grievance on Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam is allowed. And not only to beat your cheeks, you know. Ulama mentioned, go back to the fatwa from Ayatollah Naini, the grand teacher of Ayatollah Khoi and other ulama of Ayatollah, possibly the ones before them, who taught them that these acts are permissible for the Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salam, to commemorate, to grieve upon Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Of course, you're not allowed to cut your limbs or to disable your organs. You're not allowed to. Of course. But just a severe grievance, you know, as they say, jaza'. And we have narrations with this regard.
Ahsan Shaykhna. From YouTube, which would you recommend to a non-Arabic speaker? Would you recommend them to learn more surahs in the Quran, or would you recommend them to learn Arabic first?
You see, you start with the Holy Quran, especially when you want to pray. You have to learn Surah Al-Hamd and a small surah, and to be able to pronounce them correctly, to pronounce the dhikr in your ruku' sujood. That's the start of the mission of learning Arabic. And then you move towards, of course, learning the Arabic itself, the syntax, the grammar, nahu, sarf. If you can't learn properly, you know, the Fusha Arabic, you have to move on studying the proper Arabic language. So it depends.
It depends, but Quran
would be the start, definitely.
Okay. From YouTube, what are common mistakes during Takbirat al-Ihram?
For example, saying Allahu Akbar, for example.
Okay.
Or for example, some people would say Allahu Akbar, for example. They can't say kaf, for example. You have to say Allahu Akbar. No Akbar, for example, or Akbar, or
so proper pronunciation.
Or wala dhalin, for example, wala dhalin. These are mistakes in which one should avoid them in prayers, especially with the what is known as the basis of the prayers, which makes the salah batil, like takbirat al-ihram, the ruku', the both prostrations, sajda, the qiyam, which is muttasil bil ruku'. These are the rukun and the basis of salah. If there's a problem with them, the whole salah is batil. So you have to be careful with them.
Thank you very much, Shaykhna. From WhatsApp, when I reach the age of bulugh, what will be my main religious responsibilities, and how can I make sure I'm doing everything correctly? For example, my daily prayers and fasting during Ramadan.
Yes, indeed. I mean, you have to roughly, just have a look through the books of the ulama. They have, some of them, a pamphlet about Islamic beliefs. So to know your beliefs, the 5 main Islamic beliefs, knowing that Allah is one, laysa kamithlihi, as I've said, the prophethood, the Imam of Ahlul Bayt, Allah's justiceness, adl, and the day of judgment. That's the usul al-din. And to know your furu' al-din, again, the wajibat, the prayers, the fasting, the hajj, khumus. You have to set up now an account for paying khumus.
Okay.
If your parents are no longer, for example, paying your khumus, then you have to set up your own annual khumus day, where you have to calculate how much money you're gaining through income, through study grant, I don't know, university grants, through, for example, gifts and so forth. And you have to pay 1/5 of that annually of whatever is not spent, surplus, unspent money. You have to pay khumus. Zakat, zakat al-fitra. If your parents don't pay it, then you have to pay it. For example, let's say you have your own flat now, your own accommodation, separate from your family. You have to pay zakat al-fitra on the eve of the Eid al-Fitr. What else? I mean, you have to see what is wajib. Go back to Risala Amal fi marājiʿ. Have a look, see what is the wajib. You have to implement them and do them. What's haram, you have to avoid them.
Okay, thank you very much, Shaykhna. To the viewers at home, we are coming to the end of our episode. Not yet, though. We still have about like 10-15 minutes left. So send in your questions before it is too late. I don't know how many times I need to say this. It's all about seeking knowledge. Any Islamic question that you have, that you would like to learn more about, learn something new even, send them in. It's very easy, very simple. You scan the QR code, WhatsApp number, phone number, or YouTube live comment section. Send in a question. You're not going to lose anything. From YouTube, what would you answer if anyone asked you where Allah is?
I would say that the question is wrong, definitely. Because you're talking about a being that is tangible. You can't see where the angel is, Jibreel, or where the Prophet ﷺ is, for example. You can say about where paradise is, location of paradise. You can ask for that. Yes, you can ask for, na'udhu billah, for the location of the hellfire, na'udhu billah, what is hellfire. But Allah, as I've said again and again and again, laysa kamithlihi shay. Nothing is like Allah, because He's a creator and we are creation.
Yeah.
And you cannot compare the creation with the creator. It doesn't work. The question is wrong.
Okay.
From the start, yeah.
Ahsan, Sheikhna, thank you very much. From YouTube, what are some advice on controlling oneself?
In terms of controlling oneself, again, by implementing the obligatory acts correctly, perfectly, don't miss even one prayers out of 5 prayers a day, and try to also avoid the sins. If you think that there are sins, you're used to it, for example, try to gradually avoid it and totally avoid it at the end of the day. And also make your akhlaq and conduct and attitude better and better and better.
Yeah.
For the betterment of the akhlaq. Very important. Akhlaq plays a big role in terms of one's betterment and improvement. So taqwa and akhlaq.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikhna. YouTube, what are your thoughts on cursing Aisha? Is it allowed?
You see, again and again, I've answered this question many times. When you read the history of the Muslims from both sides, the Shia and the Sunni side, you will see that the like of Aisha and Talha and Zubair, the great of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they waged war against who? Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, the Prophet's cousin. And the Prophet was his father-in-law.
Okay, yeah.
The husband of Fatima alayhi salam, Sayyidat Nisa al-Alameen, the lady of the women of the world, according to the Shia and the Sunni sources. Somebody who stands against Ali alayhi salam in this way, would he be, Allah would be pleased on him, for example? Is this something that we can even think about it for a second, for a moment? Somebody who causes the death of thousands of Sahaba and Tabi'een in the Battle of Camel. So Allah Azza wa Jal has lots of verses that He would send la'na upon, and He would curse those who are tyrants, those who are oppressors, those who cause the bloodshed against innocent people. So go back to the Holy Quran again and you find the truth, especially Surah Al-Tahrim.
Surah Al-Tahrim.
Exactly.
Okay.
Find the verses, the tafsir, and read it carefully.
Thank you, Sheikhna. From YouTube, what is the ruling about option trading of stocks in Shia fiqh?
You see, as long as these tradings are, in terms of the transactions, are permissible according to the Sharia, they should be fine. I mean, it's difficult to say this kind of transaction, is it valid? We have to see what the ulama say in this regard, like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and so forth. Some would allow it, some wouldn't allow it. Again, it depends who you follow when it comes to Bitcoin and the like of Bitcoin in digital transactions. As I've said, ulama would have different opinions with this regard. So you have to be careful with this regard and ask your marājiʿ with this regard.
Okay, thank you, Sheikhna. To the viewers at home, 5 minutes left. Send in your questions. You do not want to miss out on this great opportunity of seeking knowledge. Of course, if you don't manage to answer it now, we can answer it on Wednesday, so send in your questions there. But the best time is now. Okay, so send in your questions. It's very easy. From YouTube, is the prayer allowed if we did not 100% focus throughout the whole salah?
You see, the prayers, according to some narrations, would not be elevated. When you focus in your prayers, with sincere intention, as much as of your prayers, you had intention and attention and purity and sincerity, would be raised. Otherwise, it would not be raised.
Okay.
Would be accepted as you've done the wajib.
Yeah.
You've ticked the box of obligatory act, but it wouldn't be raised. Because when it's raised, it means you get more rewards and status in paradise, inshallah.
Okay, thank you, Sheikhna. Does Islam approve of a more vegetarian diet?
You see, in terms of vegetarian and meaty foods and the like of them, different narrations with regard. That don't, for example, the narration says don't leave the meat for over 40 days. Try to eat meat in this 40 days. Otherwise, your heart will be hard-hearted, for example. So there's a connection in terms of eating meat and having soft or hard-hearted, for example, according to this narration. So we shouldn't really leave eating meat and the lack of the meat at all, or for example, just concentrate on vegetarian and vegan foods. So we have to have this balance between eating the meat and the vegetarian.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikhna. Our final question, unfortunately, of the episode from YouTube. Do I give khums on clothes and electrical appliances in the house that we do not use?
If 1 year passes, yes. Let's say you bought them brand new or were gifted to you as a gift, and you have never used them, you have to give the value of that appliances or utensils or clothes that you have never ever used. You calculate how much it costs, and you take out 1/5 of that cost and you pay as khums. If you have used that during the year.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikhna. And thank you to all the viewers at home for tuning in and asking those excellent questions. Inshallah, we all learned something either new or we learned something that we didn't know much of. Okay, to all the viewers that didn't manage to send in your questions or we didn't manage to answer your questions, send in your questions on Wednesday again so we can answer it at that time. But send it in earlier, don't be late. Send it in earlier so we can actually manage to answer your questions. I have been your host, Sayyid Muthanna Al-Musawi, with us Sheikh Ali Ma'ash, and this has been Ahkam SOS. Assalamu alaikum.
In the heart of London, Imam Hussein Media Group is on the brink of an extraordinary transformation. We are securing a new home, a sanctuary named after the Queen of Karbala, Lady Zainab Salamullahi alayh, who commemorated Abi Abdullah al-Hussein and spread the message of Karbala. This new complex, spanning 515 square meters, will be the central hub for our 5 channels. A place for filming, editing, broadcasting and gathering as a community. With a cost of £1.5 million, we invite you to be part of this new chapter. Each square meter will cost £2,900, but every contribution counts. One share is £290, or even one brick is 50 bricks. Your donation will not only build this sanctuary, but also secure immense rewards in this world and the hereafter. Every show produced, every message broadcasted will be a source of thawab for you and your families. By helping us secure this building, you are paving the way for millions to connect with Karbala and the message of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam through our channels. Join the ranks of the lovers of Aba Abdullah. Be part of this noble cause. Donate today and make a lasting impact on Shia media globally.
Jiddu, I need to tell you a secret. I had an exam today and I cheated on the exam, and to be honest, I feel like it's eating me up inside as if it's haram.
Your father used to do the exact something and would always get in trouble. But you have done it now and cannot go back. I don't know if it is haram. Khair inshallah.
Thanks, Jiddu. Jiddu.